So I've made videos before all about being magnetic and how to project it girl energy out into the world to attract the things that you want and build the kinds of relationships that you seek. So I covered it in a previous video, but I'll condense the points here. So the first law that I'm going to talk about is the law of mystery. Magnetic women don't overshare. Instead, they're more discerning about who they let into their lives. They maintain different levels of intimacy with people in terms of how much access they allow others to have to their thoughts, their emotions, and anything going on in their personal life. So if you want to embody a magnetic energy, you can't just grant access to anyone and everyone. You need to adopt the mindset that people must earn the right to know you on a deeper level. It's not something you give away simply because you're nice or because you fear that people won't like you. If you find yourself revealing things about yourself too quickly just to feel closer to someone, that comes from a lack mindset. Women who genuinely possess magnetic energy will respect those boundaries. Meanwhile, people who immediately trauma dump or try to force deep emotional conversations early on, those are the types of people that often have unresolved issues that they need to work through. Like, have you ever met someone or gone on a first or a second date with a guy where they suddenly start sharing their entire life story? I know personally that's happened to me before, like with girls in friendships and with guys on dates and stuff, and it can feel really overwhelming. It feels like love bombing in a sense. It feels very calculated, like they're trying to get something from you rather than building a genuine connection. And that kind of behavior is the opposite of magnetic energy. Actually, it's very repelling because true magnetism isn't needy. It doesn't beg for people to see her. It's self-sufficient and it's confident. Magnetic women don't need anything from anybody. They have everything that they need within themselves. And I go into more depth on this topic in my other video, but I want to emphasize that being reserved isn't the same as being closed off. I think there's a balance, and depending on who you're speaking to, it can be strategic to share personal details in certain situations, maybe to build trust or to create a stronger connection with somebody, but not everyone deserves the same level of access to you. Whether it's close friends, family members, and loved ones, like, they don't need to know everything about your life. Some things are meant to be just for you, and that is completely okay. As a feminine woman, you should have the discernment to decide what you share and with whom you share it with. So the next thing is to remember that your presence is a privilege, not a right. So this is the law of absence. If people want to make plans with you, but you'd rather do something else, like spend time with more like-minded people or engage in activities that align more with your lifestyle and interests, then that's completely okay. You don't owe anyone your time, your presence, or your energy, especially if it's not serving you. And that being said, there's value in honoring your commitments and not being flaky, but there's a difference between flakiness and energy management, and a truly magnetic woman knows how to balance the two. You've probably heard the phrase, "the distance makes the heart grow fonder." Well, that applies in this sense too. If you're constantly available, always with the same people in the same places, it dulls the allure of your presence. Allow yourself to explore and branch out, try new environments, meet different types of people, and see where there could be new connections. You never know where life is going to take you by simply stepping outside of your usual circles. A little discomfort can serve a huge purpose because it pushes you towards new opportunities and personal growth. Being absent in a more purposeful and strategic way makes people value your presence even more when you do decide to show up. So the next one is the law of self-possession. Magnetic women do not need validation, approval, or permission to live life the way that they want. They make decisions on their own terms. If they want to wake up early and hit the gym, they do it, regardless of what other people are doing. If they say they want to lose 5 to 10 pounds, they commit to that without seeking permission from anyone or giving anyone else justification as to why they're doing the things they do. They don't allow outside opinions to dictate their actions or interfere with their personal goals. A truly magnetic woman is her own source of fulfillment. She doesn't look outward for constant validation, but she also recognizes that external affirmation, like compliments, attraction, or recognition, can be enjoyable. However, she never relies on them to feel secure in herself. Because here's the reality: confidence and validation do not exist in a vacuum. While external validation can enhance your self-esteem, true inner confidence must be cultivated within yourself first. A woman who is constantly asking, should I wear this, or should I do this, or should I go there, is outsourcing her self-worth. And that kind of insecurity is repelling. Magnetism thrives on certainty. When you know yourself, and when you trust your own judgment and yourself enough to make your own decisions, you radiate confidence to the world. And I'm emphasizing this point because I used to struggle a lot with this myself. I used to constantly seek reassurance, like asking other people what I should do instead of listening to my own instincts. But over time, I realized that if I kept living for other people's approval, that I would never build the life that I truly wanted. Breaking free from a people-pleasing mindset is hard, but it's so worth it. So just start small, say no to things that don't serve you, and make independent decisions in small ways first. That way you can build up the courage to make big decisions without always looking to others for validation. Because the truth is, no one knows you better than you do, or at least they shouldn't. The next one is that magnetic women don't overreact. They respond deliberately, and this is what gives them power. This is the law of emotional control. There's something to be said about the ability to control and contain emotions at inappropriate times while still addressing them later, whether it's through journaling, recording a voice memo, talking to someone you trust, or going to a therapist. Feminine magnetic women have healthy ways to process their emotions, whether they are big or small, and they don't let their feelings fester and build up until they explode onto someone else. And they also especially avoid passive aggressiveness. I know that a lot of women struggle with being direct, but I believe that often stems from a scarcity mindset and also a people-pleaser mindset, like the fear that if you assert yourself, you'll push people away. However, there's a balance between being direct, assertive, and aggressive. And if you're prone to people-pleasing, or you were once a people-pleaser, breaking out of the habit of being overly agreeable can be challenging. But emotional control requires the confidence to be slightly disagreeable sometimes. You need to be able to express discomfort or disagreement without resorting to aggression. It can feel unnatural at first. Many women either hesitate to speak up or they overcorrect by becoming too harsh. But finding a middle ground between tact and honesty is key. So I recently saw a post on Pinterest that said, as a woman, if you don't exercise or move your body in some way, then so much of your energy remains trapped in your mind due to a disconnect between you and your body. And I definitely think that emotional control is deeply, deeply tied to movement. You should be moving your body regularly, even if it's just a simple walk outside. There shouldn't be a single day that passes without you getting to at least 8,000 steps and getting a little bit of fresh air. Now, I've also had my lazy days. Sometimes I find myself deep in my bed rotting mindset on a Saturday or Sunday, but even then, I try to at least get outside, even if it's for a short walk, to maintain that connection between my body and my mind. And most days I stay active and I easily hit 10,000 plus steps, but on the days when I don't have anything really planned, I make an intentional effort to move my body. And next is the law of detachment. Magnetic women do not chase, they attract effortlessly. And I know we've all heard that before, and honestly, I'm sick of hearing that too, but it is so true. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. They stop overexerting themselves and they let what is meant for them come naturally. They trust that their desires will flow to them with ease. And I've talked about this in a video before, but as women, especially in Western culture, we operate on a different biological rhythm than men. The traditional 9-to-5 work schedule was definitely designed around a man's hormone cycle, where his peak energy is in the morning and then diminishes throughout the day. But women don't function this way. We have a 28 to 35 day cycle, meaning that our energy fluctuates on a daily basis. That's why pushing yourself too hard can be counterproductive. Doing the most doesn't always get you the results, Personally, I've realized that constant hustle culture just does not align with me. I'm not someone who thrives in a nonstop work hard mindset, and I think that's perfectly okay. But you have to figure out which approach works best for you. Some women love intensity. They thrive on fast-paced action, high productivity, and constant movement. Others see better results by applying just enough effort while allowing space for things to unfold naturally. And I think that both methods are very valid. You just need to honor the approach that works best for your own life. And I've always felt misaligned with hustle culture, and now I understand why, because my natural sensibilities don't thrive in that kind of environment. I like to take my time. I get things done when the timing feels right, as long as it's nothing urgent, and I always make sure I get enough rest when I need it. Now, detachment doesn't mean that you stop caring about anything. It doesn't mean withdrawing completely. To me, it's about shifting your focus more towards yourself and shifting your focus inward. It's about asking yourself, what do I want? What do I see for myself? What steps do I need to take to achieve my goals? It's not about external factors. It's about making you the center of your own decisions. You should always be asking yourself, what am I gaining from this situation? Whether that's feeling fulfilled through helping others or simply treating dates as an avenue to explore fun restaurants, activities, and experiences, it's all about making choices that serve your happiness. And the law of detachment goes hand in hand with the law of least effort. So if you've noticed that the harder you try, the more your goals seem to slip away, then you may need to embrace a low effort, high reward mindset. Stop forcing things. Let opportunities come to you, then decide whether or not to accept them, whether it's a friendship, a romantic connection, or career opportunities. So let me know in the comments which law was your favorite. I'd love to hear your thoughts. For me, my favorite is the law of detachment / least effort, followed closely by the law of self-possession. These are two principles that I've learned to embody over the past year and a half, and they've completely transformed my mindset. I can say honestly that I'm the happiest I've ever been and the most sure of myself. And truly, life is better on this side. When you stop chasing approval and instead trust yourself completely, you just become a whole different person. So remember that you validate yourself. You walk through life knowing that no one is inherently better than you. Everyone has their own perspectives, preferences, and opinions, and that's perfectly fine, but that doesn't mean that you should ever doubt your own value. At the end of the day, every woman should be the main character in her own life. So I love you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.